this morning. A former sales conglomerate, ShopRite, comes to you as Governor Emmanuel performs the groundbreaking ceremony. 2016 Budget Committee makes case for assumption of casual staff into the system. Federal Inland Revenue Service gets new chairman, and of Biatoritam goes home today. Details of these and other stories in just a moment. Good morning and welcome to AKBC 45 News. I am Miriam Ekbotu. The state governor, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, yesterday performed the groundbreaking of the construction of shopping mall for a former sales conglomerate in Nigeria, the ShopRite. The groundbreaking ceremony took place at the Bom Tropicana Complex, Udom Avenue, Uyo. Colonel Efreti, who was at the event, reports that Governor Udom Emmanuel used the occasion to announce the redesigning of the complex to house offices for multinational companies. His report.
So today, we do this groundbreaking ceremony in the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Move out of civil service state as it has come to add pep to the industrialization push of his administration. Mr. Udom Emmanuel expressed hope that when a company which will create jobs and add to manpower development is fully operated, it will draw more commercial interest to the state given its reputation in Africa. The governor assured ShopRite and other investors in the complex of peaceful air and government support to enable them succeed in their undertakings. Mr. Udom Emmanuel used the occasion to announce the plan to change and reconfigure the complex, saying it would construct a 15-story structure to serve as offices for multinationals and a residential estate, adding that it was also working towards the establishment of a major broadband to facilitate communications.
Today, actually, we are grateful first of all to God. We took up the mantle of leadership. We promised the state that we can actually do a whole lot of things simultaneously. As we carry on a lot of infrastructure development, we will put so much of our concentration and focus on trying to see how we can partner with a lot of commercial activities. I don't just like calling it just only industrialization. But any way you want to call it, I cap everything that we were planning. And we promise people to create wealth and to also make sure life has a meaning here. So on behalf of the government and good people of Akwa Ibom State, I welcome you to this great land of abundance and splendor. I thank the board and management of ShopRite for deeming our state fit for this great investment. I've challenged you, if you've given others 18 months, we will work with you to make sure you deliver and win in 15 months.
For Investment, Commerce and Industry, Barrister Emmanuel Enoidem said the company has 18 months to complete the construction, which is expected to bring life to the complex.
There is no doubt the fact that this is going to be a major stimulus to the commercial life of Akwa Ibom people, because specialized products are going to be made available on this arena. And of course, it's also going to pump more life into the existing shopping mall at this location.
The Managing Director of Resilience Africa, the company floating ShopRite, Mr. Holden Marshall, said his company was happy to debut in the state. Mr. Marshall said he shall mobilize to site for commencement of work within 3 weeks, expressing hope that the project budgeted at $45 to $50 million will be completed in 18 months. He said about 500 to 600 jobs will be created by the company for locals, promising that the people will be proud of ShopRite. Mr. Marshall thanked the state governor for partnering with ShopRite and called for cooperation of the host community for undisturbed progressive work.
We try our best to use as much of the local community resources. During the construction phase, there will be a lot of local community on the construction side, and in the long term as employees in the mall.
Other events included the Chief Timothy Udofia and the former Chief the governor for right to you and of the area with the campaign reporting.
Ministries, departments and agencies have been asked to make provisions in the 2016 budget to absorb casual staff into the system as employees. This was the comment by the 2016 Budget Hearing Committee when some ministries and agencies defended their 2016 proposals. Iyaino Paul has the details.
The 2016 Budget Hearing Committee, sitting at the State Budget Office, frowned at the situation where some ministries still retain casual staff with very little stipend when they have the opportunity to employ yearly. The Permanent Secretary, Pastor Nicholas Ekarika, who represented the chairman of the committee, described the act as barbaric and suggested that the ministries should not engage other hands until the so-called casual staff are absorbed into the system. The committee felt disappointed that the ministry with 35 casual staff could propose to employ 18 fresh hands to boost the staff strength when the 35 are still placed as casual for up to 8 years.
It came to the notice of the committee that there are some staff in a certain agency of government that is placed under casual labor, and they are paying over many years now. They are still acquirable people, and they also need to be considered. They have families, and so that's why we're talking. We're saying at the committee level that agencies should see it as a moral burden on them to make sure that they are gainfully employed, and that's our stance.
Apart from the issue of casual staff, the interest in industrialization, funding for effective service delivery, increase in subvention and interest, as well as recurrent expenditure were heard at Wednesday's estimate defense. Other issues included technical assistance, office accommodation, open market value, property tax, area plan office, and measures to generate revenue in 2016. Pastor Nicholas Ekarika, on behalf of the committee, expressed satisfaction over the manner that ministries were cooperating with government to generate revenue next year. For the ministries remaining, the permanent secretary enjoined them to come with their permanent secretaries, director generals, or general managers to effect a smooth deliberation.
Budget process is a process that fine-tune government governance as such, because it has to do with making provision, financial provisions for the running cost of government. And we are pleading with agencies that every area's loophole that we are trying to strengthen, they should go ahead and strengthen it before the final submission of the report.
Those that defended so far expressed the hope that next year's budget will favor their ministries.
I'm very happy with the estimate committee. In fact, there are things that they have done which I did not expect, like the recruitment of the casual staff, which we did not expect. But if that one comes to fruition, we will be very happy, because those people have been there for a very long time.
So far, between January and June this year, the budget department is quite impressive.
So what do you expect in the 2016 budget?
Well, I expect something very, very great.
Ministries that turned up for the exercise on Wednesday were Ministry of Lands and Town Planning, Office of the Surveyor General, Center for Alternative Dispute Resolution, Uyo Capital City Development Authority, as well as Ministry of Science and Technology. Iyagino Paul reporting.
The Commissioner for Economic Development, Dr. Emmanuel Widoket, has called on the Nigerian Statistical Association to produce data on areas which will not only help in the development of the state, but will assist in measuring the rate of development, ensure that the state was making progress. Dr. Widoket was speaking when the executive of the Nigerian Statistical Association called on him in his office. The story is presented in our studios.
Statistics as key to effective planning, noting that greater results and efficient resource allocations and application were achieved when projections were based on reliable data. The Commissioner acknowledged the role that the association has played in the overall development of Akwa Ibom State and assured them of government's readiness to collaborate with them and make the association succeed.
We need those data. Data which I will call baseline data on the fundamentals of development, so that when we want to measure 2 years or 1 year from now, what have we done? How have we progressed? We need to say at point A, this is where we are, at point B, this is where we are. We need to generate our own data.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Eldaiya Ekubumana, in his remarks, expressed appreciation for the visit and noted that the annual conference of the Nigerian Statistical Association and African Statistical Day were statutory, hence their inclusion in the ministry's budget. The chairman of the Nigerian Statistical Association, Akwa Ibom State Chapter, Mr. Michael Upong, while congratulating Dr. Onwodiokat on his appointment as commissioner, also briefed him on the responsibility of the Nigerian Statistical Association, established in 1976, to develop all aspects of statistics for the country's economic development. Mr. Upong called for cooperation in the training of its members by the government and appealed for government sponsorship of the members to attend the 29th annual conference and 14th pre-conference workshop holding at Ojugbo from September 7, 2015.
The NSA is ready to assist the Ministry of Economic Development develop manpower in statistics, and we intend to submit a proposal for the Refreshers course to you for consideration in due course.
A non-governmental organization, the Global Network of Civil Society Organizations for Disaster Reduction, has honored the Managing Director of Niger Delta Development Commission, Sabasi Dan Abia. The Excellence Award, according to the organization, is for the recipients' public service, youth empowerment, and poverty reduction posture in the Niger Delta region. The story is presented in our studios.
At a media chat and dinner organized by the group, the organization, represented by Chibundu Chebu, congratulated Sabasi Danabia for the honor, noting that although the Niger Delta Development Commission was established to concentrate on development of the region, its impact has gone beyond the area. It noted that this led to reduction in crime and other social vices in the society. Mr. Chebu said that the efforts of the NDDC in the region was complementary of the Global Network of Civil Society Organizations for Disaster Reduction and encouraged the NDDC to focus more on women, children, and the elders.
It is important to make sure that future disasters do not sabotage our development. The Commission has made use of development and made use of progress across the region, but we must make sure that this progress must be built on.
The chairman on the occasion, Mr. Victor Bassi, spoke well of the NDDC and commended President Muhammadu Buhari for allowing the current management to continue in office after the administration that appointed it. The president of the Niger Delta Network Advancement Program, Comrade Al Mustafa Edogo, said that the assessment has shown that the NDDC has done well since its establishment in 2000, adding that the current management is exceptional. He condemned the campaigns of calumny against the management of NDDC, noting that after a careful appraisal and independent project audit, the management could be said to have performed creditably well. In his response, the representative of Mr. Danabia, Mr. Anyanga, appreciated the gesture of the organizers for the award. He said Nigeria was on the move, stressing that the NDDC was doing its best to actualize the dreams of its founding fathers.
And the mandate is to leave this region, Niger Delta region, better than what it came to be. So that by the time his tenure is done, we will all gather again to really celebrate it.
More youths in the state are to be trained on various skills to make them self-reliant and therefore contribute to the well-being of the economy. The chairman of Akwa Ibom Investment Corporation, Dr. Elijah Pan, stated this when a social cultural group, Uyiwad, said Awa paid a courtesy visit on him and his office. Details of the story is read in our studios.
He charged the youth to take seriously so as to be part of the local content as industries take up in the state. The state would witness what he called industrial explosion, as according to him, serious investors have indicated interest to do business in the state. He commended the youth for the support they gave the governor during the election and charged them to keep it up. Dr. Akpan expressed gratitude to the state governor, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, for the opportunity given him to serve in the investment corporation and promised to work to ensure that the governor's vision for creating employment and wealth for the people could succeed.
I want to let you know that your labor will not be in vain. And part of his agenda, you guys already know, is to create jobs for all of us, to make sure there's wealth creation, to make sure that ultimately we, the youth of Akwa Ibom State, not just tonight, the whole of Akwa Ibom State, will experience an era of prosperity very soon in this state.
The President, Uyiwade Senawa, Obongiwad Benjamin Inyangatuk, appreciated Dr. Akpan for granting them audience and stated that they were in his office to demonstrate solidarity and support to him as the chairman of the Investment Corporation. The group's president expressed readiness to partner the Investment Corporation to realize its goals.
We are here to encourage and demonstrate our solidarity, support on this equivalent task of transforming Akwa Ibom State into an investment-driven economy. We wish to express our desire to partner with you on this life-transforming venture.
The group promised to give Governor Udom Emmanuel maximum cooperation and support to realize his vision for the state.
We'll take a short break now. When we come back, more news. To stay with us.
For the best of entertainment, incisive news, captivating and illuminating programs, the latest in politics, in-depth analysis of events, sports, and much more. Keep watching AKBC Channel 45.
So good to have you back. The Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare has enlisted the cooperation of parents, guardians, teachers, and the public to the effect that children in the state are not abused and abandoned. The Commissioner, Dr. Gloria, made the call when she led the management and staff of the ministry on a sensitization campaign against child abuse to Uyo and to Ibom Federal Constituency. Etienne Oiba can place the story.
In recognition of the important role of children in national development, government ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, as well as the African Union Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child in 1991 and 2001. In Nigeria, the Child Rights Act 2003 was signed into law to protect the child, while the state government reviewed the act and domesticated it as the Akwa Ibom State Child Rights Law in 2008. Addressing the people of Itu, Ibionibom Federal Constituency, who gathered at Itu Local Government Council Hall, the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Gloria, said that despite the various efforts put in place by government to ensure the promotion and protection of the rights of the child, children are still being abused and abandoned by their parents and guardians. Dr. Ede stressed that the ministry, in its mandate and in accordance with the Child Rights Law, will not hesitate to prosecute offenders who violate the rights of a child. The Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Mrs. Cecilia Inyang, said that the state government places high premium on the welfare of children, hence the need for the sensitization. In their contributions, women, elders, youth, including the paramount ruler of Itu, Edidemede Akpanyang, and the chairman of its local government transition committee, Mr. Okon Netumokon, described the sensitization as timely and suggested ways to curb child abuse-related cases in the society.
We check child abuse at school. Since our teachers are working directly with our children.
Because counselors they was there I monitor to go never get to take a case in a monitor make sure get to go whenever but today most of us secondary schools counselors
please let us join hands together and take up this collective responsibility so that this evil violence against children will stop.
The sensitization team was also received at Uyo Federal Constituency by the people of Nseretai, Uran and Uyo local government areas who met at Uyo Local Government Council Hall. The Commissioner, Dr. Gloria, urged the people to always team up to ensure success of government activities and programs in the area. She asked the people to join in the fight against child abuse, child labor, abandonment, trafficking and baby sale in the state.
The Child's Rights Law. I get a man for about them to yeah. If you want to look into it, I know. Yes, and you make a young bomb, you may do one for that dinner, enough.
The sensitization, which centers on the rights of a child, a collective responsibility, has so far taken the team to 6 federal constituencies of the state. Etienne Oibanga reporting.
That sensitization campaign was taken to Ibionibom Federal Constituency. The Secretary to the State Government, Saite Kamba Morin, has assured the Akwa United Football of the support of the government to enable it to lift the Federation trophy. In an interview in Uyo soon after the team's arrival from Abeokuta, Saite Kamba Morin described their victory as a product of hard work and commitment to the cause, adding that it was a vindication of the vision of the government to build a stadium to encourage sports development in the state. He challenged the club to remain resolute as the state government will give necessary support to it in the final match.
With this winning, I can assure that Akwa United will come back with support. And by bringing back the cup to the first team, we will have the
Receiving the team at the Dawson Council Secretariat, the Commissioner for Youth and Sport, Samande Bonko, said that government was pleased at the achievement of the club to play in the final of the competition. Soko, who gave the club 1 million naira in appreciation, urged the players to be serious in the task ahead.
And on behalf of the Ministry of Youth and Sport and indeed the entire state, which I'm standing in for the governor of this state, I want to say we are very happy and that we will continue to support Akwa United and all the dreams that we have in this state.
Responding on behalf of the club, the chairman Aparo Sube said that the players were disciplined and had committed themselves to winning the trophy. The chairman of the State Football Association Nomination Committee, Mr. Samuel Liba, said the State Football Association is assured that all logistics will be put in place to enable the team to win the final match. Appoints new chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and for refusing to back down on its nuclear program, North Korea says it is ready for war against South Korea. Stay tuned for tips and national and international scene with Samuel Ayara.
President Muhammadu Buhari has announced the appointment of Dr. Williams Babatunde Fowler as the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Dr. Fowler has a degree in economics from the University of Wisconsin and an MBA from California State University in the United States of America. He has worked in the banking sector for about 20 years. Prior to his appointment, he headed the Lagos State Board of Internal Revenue from 2005 to 2014, where he raised the state's internal revenue from 3.4 million monthly average in 2006 to 20.5 million naira in 2013. Meanwhile, President Buhari has also approved the appointment of Ali Ugaso as Director General of the Budget Office. The appointment is for 4 years. The United States government has expressed its readiness to work with the new management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation in reforming the Nigerian oil and gas industry. The U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, James Entwistle, told the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Ibe Kachiku, that the United States will provide all necessary requirements to realize NNPC's goal and objective. Acknowledging Kachiku's job in NNPC as most challenging, Entwistle said the U.S. government was confident in its capacity to lead the nation's oil and gas industry in the path of growth and sustainable development. Responding, the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Ibe Kachiku, said the new NNPC would be driven by a deep sense of commitment to service delivery in the principle of transparency, efficiency, and profit. Pyongyang has ordered North Korean troops to assume a quasi-war footing after Thursday's exchange of artillery fire between North and South Korea over South Korea's refusal to back down on its nuclear program. This happens to be the first time in 5 years both countries would be showing animosity, a breach of the peace charter they both assented to. Pyongyang's anger may not be unconnected with the South Koreans' loudspeaker propaganda broadcast that North Korea had led mines in a deliberate attack on its patrol of the demilitarized zones that divides both countries.
The church yard bell tolls at Mbiatoritam into local government areas, signaling the eternal call of Sister Nkoye Tomatagba, renowned Christian and educationist. Born on Friday, 25th March 1938 as Nkoye Tomidu in Odioitam. She began her formal education in 1964 at the primary school of Aritam and concluded the primary education in 1953 at the Church of Scotland Mission Girls School, Ikorobo, and capped it when she trained as a teacher in 1954. Year preparatory training school at Mbaratai, Itu. Between 1957 and 1958, Nkoye attended the Teachers Training College, Orochukwu, for her Grade 3 certificate. Between 1978 and 1981, the late Nkoye Tomatagba studied geography and history at the Eastwell College of Education, Uyo, and capped her professional training with a Bachelor of Science in Geography from the University of Calabar. For her first stint as teacher at the East Etam Primary School in 1955, the late Nkoye had a professional outing in teaching that spanned through the primary, teacher training, and secondary school in December 1993. When she retired at the Community Secondary Commercial School, Ikorandem Itam, married to the late Imebong Awaitam Atakpa of the Atakpa royal lineage in Biatogitam. Goyo was a Christian who had passed through a bit of changes through the Church of Scotland Mission, Non-Presbyterian Church, the Mount Zion Lighthouse Full Gospel Church, the Deeper Life Bible Church, and the Apostolic Church. Mambiatok, as she was only called by her children and grandchildren, was an epitome of love, peace, and care. A family statement by her son Larry Atakwa indicates that a funeral service in her honor to be conducted by the Apostolic Church will be held on Saturday, 22nd August at the primary school grounds, Biatowitam. The late Mrs. Nkoyet Matakwa has also left behind Lady Emem Odoidium, Eno Imewatum, Mrs. Nsikariam, Mrs. Udarekong, Mrs. Anyekanantia, Mrs. Mfon Udeng, and a host of other relatives to mourn her departure. That's the package this morning, but just before we close it up, we bring you back the major stories. The State Governor, Mr. Dom Emmanuel, yesterday performed breaking for the construction of a shopping mall for a former sales conglomerate in Nigeria, the ShopRite. The groundbreaking ceremony took place at the Bom Tropicana Complex, Ododoma Avenue, Uyo. That's the package this morning. We thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with us and wish you a pleasant weekend. Good morning.